This is really not news to most of you, as Jimmy Kimmel has become the go-to host for the Oscars ceremony. But the comedian held nothing back during his opening monologue, going through his usual spiel of making several jokes at the expense of some very major Hollywood figures and A-list celebrities. He indirectly criticized Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, who last year took the big decision of stepping back from senior royal duties in the UK and moving to California. Kimmel began the show by saying, "We're at the Dolby Theatre at Hollywood and Highland, and Prince Harry and Meghan came all the way from London to do this. We'll find out who gets custody of the golden child. They said home is wherever you need to recover from giving up your titles." That got a laugh from the audience at the ceremony but also earned the joke massive backlash online, with many accusing Kimmel of being unnecessarily mean-spirited towards Meghan and Harry with the dig. It is in this context that Meghan and Harry announced, in January of last year, their intention to step back as senior working royals, a move they eventually made in March with a controversial decision that they wanted a bit more privacy and financial independence. They moved to California where they have since signed multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify. They will, however, be done with royal titles and patronages without discharging the functions pertaining to them, by utilizing the official titles of Her Royal Highness. So, Kimmel was pulling a joke on them, saying that the reason they have come back to California this time around is probably to continue recovering from having to give back those titles when they left the British royal family. Many had seen it as a low blow and unfair criticism of Meghan and Harry's personal choice to leave behind senior royal duties in favor of more freedom and private lives away from the UK media spotlight. This will perpetuate the ongoing narrative in some circles that the couple had turned their backs on tradition and duties without fully appreciating what kind of sacrifices were asked of them. In the days following the Oscars, the joke sparked debate online. Supporters of Meghan and Harry felt it was an unnecessary dig at a private family decision Kimmel knew little about. Kimmel's defenders said this was a harmless joke in the context of a roast at an awards show, in a world gone too politically correct and people being offended all too easily. Some pointed out that Kimmel has had an edgy joke history at award shows, and Meghan and Harry should certainly not get a free pass just because they are a prince and princess in exile. But others said the deeply personal situation that he had joked about is a very real and painful transition, racist attacks by some elements of the British press against Meghan involved in the transition for the couple. Shortly thereafter, Kimmel took some heat across his own social media timelines from supporters of Meghan and Harry, calling him out for the swipe. The comedian has never publicly responded to, or even acknowledged that the criticism took place. Meghan and Harry themselves, for their part, have not publicly commented on Kimmel's joke or reacted to it. Representatives for the couple haven't issued statements, so whether or not they were actually personally offended or hurt by Kimmel's comments from the Oscars stage is something we actually don't know. While I've pretty much followed the journey of Meghan and Harry, this statement does sound a bit over the line. While roasts often get the source of light at award shows, the specifics he joked about cut a bit too close to the very real personal issues the couple has faced. Relinquishing their titles was an enormous sacrifice they undertook toward having more control over their lives after facing intense racism and some UK media coverage of Meghan. And to feign that, as Kimmel's joke did, that they come to California to just recover from no longer being titled better is to ignore the controversy, criticism, and attacks that drove them from Britain. And Meghan has particularly been at the receiving end of an avalanche of increased online and newspaper abuse just for being a colored woman marrying into the royal family. Kimmel could have easily made a lighter joke about the couple without targeting such a sensitive part of their story. But in choosing to take a dig at the aspect of the title, he essentially perpetuated the trivialization of issues that the British press hounded them over, and which no person, let alone a member of the royal family, should endure. In the end, I guess while Kimmel probably didn't mean any real harm, this was a subject way too complicated and personal for Meghan and Harry to be worthy of being roasted over in that setting. Their decision was multi-pronged and based on valid mental health and safety concerns, not for a whim to drop titles. So Kimmel really missed his goal and might as well have simply not brought up the couple at all in his Oscars monologue, in my opinion. Overall, it was an unnecessary joke that reinforced unhelpful narratives about Meghan and Harry. Even in the most traditional roast-style award shows, nothing should be off-limits. However, there are certain very nuanced or sensitive issues that are not fit for humor, and at real people's and their very real experiences' expense. In that event, Kimmel might have been wise not to tread at all on the Sussexes and their tortuous royal family exit.